Jesus, I give you permission to soften my heart. I give you permission to give me the power to forgive. Hello everyone, I'm Father Jim Kelleher with Liturgy Prep for Wednesday, December 29th, 2021. You know, in today's readings, I'd like to focus on the first reading from 1 John, where he says, quote, "Beloved, the way we may be sure that we know Jesus is to keep his commandments." So if we're going to be sure to know Jesus, we must keep his commandments. These commandments are actually a blessing. But sometimes for us to experience the blessing, we have to ask Jesus to show how we get blessed through these commandments. And certainly one of the ways we get blessed is by loving as opposed to hating. And we want to explore that a little bit here today. So St. John goes on to say, "Whoever says he is in the light, yet hates his brother, is still in the darkness." Do you find yourself in the darkness or in the shadows today? Is there someone who you're refusing to forgive? Perhaps there is. You could be a husband or a wife, and your spouse could have done something that just was very, very bad. And there's no way you can justify what they did to you because it was just outright wrong. But what are you going to do? Well, if you hold on to what they did to you and you don't forgive them, even before they ask forgiveness, you're going to be held in bondage by whatever they did. But if you can ask Jesus to give you the grace to forgive them now, you're going to be free, so that if they do come and ask forgiveness, you'll be able to forgive them in a way that will be helpful for them. Because you see, Jesus wants husbands and wives to be a team. He doesn't want them enemies of each other. And Jesus wants a husband and wife to help each other get to heaven. And part of getting to heaven is asking forgiveness from each other every day. So husband and wives, try to take a few moments at the end of the day, just the two of you together, to thank Jesus for the blessings of the day. And if there's been any hurts that have happened during the day, for each person to say, "I'm sorry." And to ask Jesus to heal the hurt. Because a lot of times we can't heal the hurt, but Jesus can. So we can give our hurts actually together to Jesus and ask him to heal. It's a beautiful way to go. Now, if you're one of those sons or daughters of the mother and father, you could be anywhere from, you could be in 2 to 10 years old, you could be 10 to 20, you could even be an adult child. But as children in a family, we're all called to help build up the family. And so that means that when one of us does something wrong, we have to be willing to admit that we did something wrong and ask our brothers and sisters and others for forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful gift. Jesus came to forgive you and me of our sins. And so all forgiveness is rooted in Jesus. So if you and I are having trouble forgive, we need to get closer to Jesus. We need to bring our hardness, our heart to Jesus and say, "Jesus, my heart is so hard. I couldn't forgive that person if I wanted to." So Jesus, I give you permission to soften my heart. I give you permission to give me the power to forgive. And he will. I'd like to share with you a story, a powerful story of forgiveness that comes through the life of St. Maximilian Kolbe. He was a saint during World War II. He was a Franciscan priest, and he was put into one of those concentration camps. And every day they had to do work like 12 hours a day. They had just a little couple ounces of soup to eat each day. They were starving, and the inmates were going crazy. And these Nazi guards were just savagely beating the prisoners. We can imagine how much hate some of these prisoners had for these guards. But Kolbe would counsel the prisoners and counsel himself. We cannot hate them. We must forgive them. We must ask God to show us somehow a way to love them. This was a hard message when you're starving to death. But Kolbe lived this himself, because Kolbe used to give his little, if he had a half piece of bread, he would break it in half and give half of it to another starving prisoner. That's genuine love. When prisoners would see him do that, they would think Kolbe was nuts. But they were impressed by him. They respected him. Well, then one day, a prisoner escaped from the prison. So the commandant said, now 10 will die in the starvation bunker as reprisal. One of them was a married man with 3 kids, and he started crying. What would happen to his wife? What would happen to his kids? Well, Colby stepped forward. He said, let me take his place. The commandant allowed. So Colby led 9 other men into the starvation bunker. There he taught them to pray, to sing hymns. He prepared these men to go home to God. The prisoners who were there at the time say there was so much peace radiating from that bunker that the Nazis wouldn't even go there because it so embarrassed them. Colby won. Colby chose love because only love creates. Ave Maria.